In a surprising move, pretty much dating back in a pattern all the way to before the Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA era, EA has pretty much decided to tell you to fuck off. They don't care if you buy their new game, Need for Speed Unbound. It just doesn't matter to them, at least according to the official Twitter account for the games. Now you might think, Jay, you're exaggerating. Jay, you obviously don't like these companies, so you're going to be blowing this out of proportion. While I don't like these companies, I think this really speaks for itself. This started with a very innocuous tweet saying, you asked, we listened. Pre-order Need for Speed Unbound Palace Edition today for 3-day early access to Lakeshore. By the way, early access is stupid. It's always been stupid. It always will be stupid. And so a user, Kylo Zeno, said, hold on, what did we ask for and what did you listen to exactly? To pay more to get 3 days early access? Essentially saying, why should I buy the Palace Edition to get 3-day early access? Now, this is a good point, especially when games are pretty much never complete at launch anymore. Why should you pay more money to get early access for something that likely won't be done? The Need for Speed account said, gameplay video? 3D early access was always there. Reading is fundamental. So this was them obviously trying to be cool. It does go much further than this, though. And Kylo said, right, charging extra to your loyal fan base to play 3 days early isn't really cool and a bit exploitive. Customer relations is fundamental. Because the Need for Speed account was just being a dick. Honestly, I bet whoever runs this is kind of a little bitch. They probably have no power in their own life, so they're trying to lash out and look cool in front of all the, basically teenagers on the internet. It's essentially like that kid you knew in high school who would say really offensive things to try and fit in, right? They would try really hard to get attention. And it's not that it's bad to do something mildly offensive once in a while for humorous effect. It's not that. It's that kid, that's the only tool they had in the toolbox because, it was pretty empty upstairs, right? That's pretty much who the Need for Speed account is. And they proved it with their next tweet saying, milkshake brain to Kylo, which I've never heard this insult before. This is interesting. Attempt at an insult. I guess they're saying that their brain is liquid, which I've never heard of, but okay. To which Kylo has just responded, milkshake company, and ratioed the shit out of them. Important to note, Kylo was ratioing the Need for Speed Twitter account this entire time. So it went basically Kylo getting 500 likes compared to the original tweet of Need for Speed, which did get 4,600 because it was just a normal innocuous tweet. Then the Need for Speed account decided to be a dick. They got 138 likes, probably from corporate shills who think it's funny to be an asshole. And then Kylo responded and got about 800 likes at the time of recording this. Then Need for Speed responded again, got 152, and Kylo blew them out of the water with over 1,000 likes. At which point the Need for Speed Twitter account decided, I don't really care about my job, I'm just a piece of shit, and said, cry about it, bro, or buy regular price, I don't care. I don't know what the point was of using the black emoji here, if that was supposed to be like saying I'm black or something. I have no idea. It seems irrelevant to me. I know some people like try and use these emojis, whatever race or ethnicity or whatever they are. I've never really looked too far into it, so I'm not sure if that's what was going on here, because some people were trying to make this like a racial thing. They were saying like, oh, this person won't get fired because they're black or something like that. I have no idea what they are. I don't care. Like, they could literally be an alien in a human suit. They're still being a prick. To which Kylo responded, I was going to buy your game on release day, but due to the admin of this account, you've lost a sale. Well done. Stay edgy and keep being relevant for the 12-year-olds. You ain't half as cool as you think, Chief. You're an embarrassment and unprofessional. Which, again, he ratioed him, basically 4 times the likes. And then the Need for Speed account said in what they thought was an own, I'm not reading all that, sorry that happened to you, or congratulations. At which point, again, a bunch of people just memed on them and shit on them and basically pointed out how pathetic it is to not be able to read 4 lines of text and to be a representative of a company. I thought this was really interesting. Am I going a little hard on this guy who's probably just trying to be cool? Yeah. But I don't really think being a dick is cool. I've never really thought that's being cool. I've never really thought that's being funny. There are parodies, there are ways that you can go about this kind of stuff and be funny. This really wasn't it. There wasn't really any humor here. There was nothing really going on here. It was basically just the Need for Speed account being an asshole for no reason. and alienating their fan base further, which is something EA is great at. So what was the point of this video? Well, to show you another example of basically these, I guess I should say not channel moderators, but like social media moderators and these companies, they don't give two shits about you or me. What they care about is the bottom line. It literally is that, cry about it or buy it full price. I don't care. That's really what it is. That's what it comes down to, is you can essentially, hop on or jump off a bridge. They don't give a shit. And I think we all knew that before, but it's nice to kind of see the mask slip a little bit and see them actually let up and tell you this. This is something that's interesting to me because it reminds me a lot of this scene in Dexter. It's one of my favorite shows ever, where he talks about how, he tries so hard to be like a very neat person and be very inconspicuous and not draw attention to himself, but once in a while the mask kind of slips. I think this is kind of an example with EA, again, like the pride and accomplishment. Or for another example, which is a totally different company, the whole thing with Diablo and, well, don't you guys have phones? Like, there is a lot of hubris when it comes to these properties that I think these people think they're untouchable, they can do whatever they want, and because their brand is so big, it will just sell no matter what. Now, if you want to play an EA game, now, here's the thing, if you want to play an EA Need for Speed game, you can do whatever you want with your money. You could be buying 12 copies of Unbound at launch, or you could just not buy any because apparently the Twitter account doesn't care if you do, and you could just go play a used Need for Speed game. So a great example I have of that for you that's relatively cheap is a game like Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Xbox 360. That is a fantastic game. There's a remake of it. It's not as good, but the original is fantastic. And of course, there's also Need for Speed Carbon. Those are both very, very affordable used games that EA gets zero money for if you want to have your Need for Speed fill. Another one that's very, very cheap all the time, used or new, sitting in a bargain bin somewhere, is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. That's a great game as well. So if you ever want to play a Need for Speed game but you don't want to give them the satisfaction of lining their pocketbooks because you're paying like people like this, there's some suggestions for you from me that I think are pretty high up there. It's a sad look to see from what I would have considered one of the more reputable and interesting racing brands in gaming, at least for a lot of years. I would say they've gone downhill quite a bit in recent years, focusing more and more on online experiences and less on actual player engagement in a single player world or anything like what they used to do with games like Most Wanted or Carbon or Underground, etc. They've kind of lost their way when it comes to a lot of the core elements that made it Need for Speed, and I think they've done so even more with hiring this kind of asshole to run their stuff. Now, it always needs to be said, I don't want people to harass this person. Leave them alone. It's not worth interacting with them. They clearly want attention. Again, they clearly have nothing going on in their own life, and their work is their entire thing that they have, if they really need to put this much ego into it. So you'd just be giving them the satisfaction anyway, and making me look bad. Not worth it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this and subscribe for more content. I always try and be respectful of you guys. I'm sure there's times I lose my cool a little bit or get a little frustrated with somebody being an ass to me. But overall, I don't really see this panning out. I don't understand the mentality of let's be a dick to our customers and let's alienate them. I've never seen that work out, but maybe there's some people with like a weird sadomasochism fetish that'll like really be buying Need for Speed Unbound because of this Twitter account. So anyways, have a great day. Be sure to check out the links in the description down below, including the Let's Play channel Degenerate Plays, where we're playing through a bunch of different games together, hanging out, having fun, and of course, everything else, including Jill's new shop, EnchantedGlamour.com, where she's selling comic book resin pieces with repurposed paper and also tons of really cool jewelry. She's adding new pieces over the next week, so it's going to be a fantastic little site that I hope you'll check out, and purchases go to help the channel. And on top of all of that, we won't tell you to go screw yourself when you actually help us out and buy something from us, because you're actually valued here, apparently, unlike over on Twitter with the Need for Speed account and EA itself. So, see you later. Have a fantastic day. As always, everyone, stay shway.